Alright, so we won the die roll, we're on the play. This hand is kind of interesting. It's like, I have a looting and a discard spell. Soul Spike and Unburial are basically dead. And I need a Gristle Brand. And I don't think looting is just going to get there, especially since Gemstone Mine is going to run on counters. So maybe if this were a different land, I would consider keeping. But like, I would certainly keep it if it had something like a Glimpse. But as this looks, I mean, I just feel like this is a mulligan. And I think we're going to keep this one. Like, we only have 20 lands, but we have a lot of action that we can draw into to help find our second land. Like, we have Thought Scour and Faithless Looting, but I'm not sure what land we have to fetch then. It's kind of weird. But I mean, like, we have Glimpse into Cruise, and I think that's pretty good. It's just like, I mean, obviously this hand is not great, but I'm going to keep it, see what happens. I think I just get Blood Crypt, honestly. A lot of blue sources in the deck. Most of the lands are blue, just like the Blackleaf Cliffs are the only ones that I could draw that would be bad. And I'm just going to pay the 3 life in the hopes that I draw the land immediately and Inquisition him, and if he has something like a Noble Hierarch or whatever, we can probably slow him down a lot. So, see what this person is working with. This looks like a pretty normal blue-red Delver deck. Like, there are probably some Cruises in my opponent's deck, but it doesn't look like they're going super hard on it because they have Remand and Serum Visions. I think I'm just going to take the Remand because it's pretty good against Cruise, and these threats are not, you know, not that threatening really. So yeah, I'm just going to take this Remand, and hopefully that means my Cruise can resolve. We'll see. Obviously not in the best spot, you know. It's possible this deck could use even more 1-mana search cards. Like, maybe Serum Vision should still be in the deck. Like, Looting is basically the best card, and there we go. So I'm almost certainly pitching this Gristle Brand, and then it looks like I'm going to discard the second Glimpse. I'm basically not going to need 2 as long as the first one resolves. And then we have a second Inquisition to maybe hit a counter spell if they vision into it, and it looks like they kept both on top. So I'll just discard those 2. Fully expect them to play Young Pyromancer this turn. Again, things not looking great, but we have outs. We can do some pretty busted stuff. Now we have Goryo's Vengeance as a pretty live draw once we do hit our second land. And we're really not that far away from cruising either. Like, would obviously ideally not want to remove this Gristle Brand, but you know, sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do. But if I draw another fetch land, we're basically there. So looks like a Pyromancer and a Probe. It's a good one. Get that token. Worth noting that they did fetch away the second card they kept on top, so I'm going to be able to Inquisition and see basically everything that they're working with because they're just off the top now. So I drew a Soul Spike. Don't really want to get rid of my Inquisition and Glimpse just to kill the Pyromancer. It's certainly a consideration. Oh, Mana Leak. Alright, we're gonna get the leak out of there, and then this Young Pyromancer's not doing too much, and then hopefully we can draw the blue source on our next turn to cruise before they have Snap Leak or Snap Remand open. So fetching immediately, does that mean a Serum Visions? Or just gonna snap Serum? Okay, they drew a cruise. That's pretty good. Being the first person to cruise is definitely kind of important. Yeah, so it looks like they're just gonna remove all of their counter spells. So again, there's that tension there with like Cruise and Snapcaster. You kind of have to be careful with that, but the idea is that if you cast Treasure Cruise, presumably you're going to draw into enough stuff that you're going to want a Snapcaster. So it shouldn't be that big of a deal, really. Alright, so we have our blue mana. I would not be surprised to see a Spell Pierce here. But I'm not sure there's a whole lot we can really do about that. Like I could try and glimpse myself this turn, but glimpse isn't really setting anything up at this point. I don't have a Snapcaster. I really just want to cruise into Agorio's Vengeance. And if I hit another black card, I would have used the Soul Spike. And now we're pretty close to dead. So if this Delver flips, it looks like we're dying to Snap Bolt. Yep, so that's it. They revealed the Serum Visions. So yep, that's it. Game over. Just kind of stumbled there for a little bit. Gave my opponent too much time. So I definitely like the Pyroclasms here. I don't expect much in the way of graveyard hate, so I don't think I need the decays as well. Inquisitions are solid for hitting counter spells, but I don't know, I probably drew like one too many of them that game. I could see like shaving those. Not really sure what I want to cut here. It's like bolts are still relatively solid. I feel like an Unburial Rites is a pretty safe cut because it's not great against counter magic. And they could also just have something like Vapor Snag, which is just a pretty big beating against Gristlebrand, actually. So yeah, I'm just going to shave some stuff, I think. And then that should be fine. I still want to keep in all the Soul Spikes, because if I ever do get a Gristlebrand in play, this is what allows me to actually draw a bunch of cards and like control the board and stuff. So we'll just do that. We're a little lighter on black cards, but I think that's okay. So this hand has no red, but it has a Glimpse, and I think I'm okay with that. Like pretty close to casting Soul Spike. If I draw red, our hand is awesome. Again, this is like another case of like maybe Serum Vision should be in this deck. Yeah, I'm gonna keep this. Certainly not great, but again, a lot of things we can draw between Treasure Cruise and any red lands. Gorios would be good if we hit a Gristlebrand off this Glimpse. Even if we just run off a bunch of lands, like maybe casting Unburial Rites would be good, but I think for the most part, Unburial Rites Soul Spike is what is happening here. Okay. So glimpse ourselves, see what happens. Did find the Gristlebrand, milled a bunch of red lands, also have a looting, and I'm just going to Soul Spike this thing. So now we have a bunch of time, and basically just need to draw land in between looting and graveyard, looting in hand. Should be pretty good to go. It's kind of a tough spot though because ultimately I do need to draw that. I have Hallowed Fountain in my deck, and the 3 Darkslick Shores that don't make red, and the Swamp. So 3, 4, 5, 20. So I have 9 lands left that I can hit. 9 lands that make red is not that many, I guess. Got some redraws though too. Could always hit like a Thought Scour or something. Played with this Delver deck in, I think it was the very last video I did, and it was a lot of fun. I messed up round 3 to not cash, and since then I've been playing like more combo heavy versions, and one of those appeared in my last article, and that deck's been pretty good. But definitely just want to try out this Griselbrand stuff because Griselbrand is awesome. I think it's just like really powerful too. Okay, that's a start. I think we just leave this mana open. End up delving an extra card. So we hit the red. That's good. I think I'm just going to loot. Darkslick Shores and Glimpse seem like the worst ones. And then I could Thought Scour. I think I just want to Inquisition this turn though. I guess not being able to take their treasure cruises might be a reason to not play Inquisition. For the most part it should be faster. Just like hasn't really come together yet. So Bolt Probe Cruise. It's alright, not too much pressure. So still doing okay. Yeah, like I said, it can be tough to find both Griselbrand, put it in the graveyard, and find a Gorya's Vengeance, and that's kind of what I've been dealing with here. In that sense, the Through the Breach versions are a little bit better because you have Emrakul and Griselbrand, you have Through the Breach and Gorya's Vengeance, so you have a lot of redundancy there. So I'm at 20 still. I think I'm just going to flashback this looting. Want to use my mana every turn, and I'm in no rush to really bolt this, and if I bolt this I can't really do anything else. So I exiled my one on Burial Rites, so I don't really need lands past this, unless my plan is to cast Griselbrand, which I have done, but don't think that's the plan. Just make sure I have a fetchable land still. I have the Hallowed Fountain. Yeah. So discard small Griselbrand. Play out this land. At this stage in the game, it might be best to make sure I can play around Mana Leak if possible. So no cruiser from my opponent. That kind of makes me think he has another Snapcaster. Oh, those Goryo's Vengeances. Just chilling. Okay, yeah, so I don't need the fountain for anything. So I can just get Steam Vents. I'm going to pay the 2 life. I'm still at a pretty high life total. And I think I want to Thought Scar myself just because, like, yeah, I could mill a Goryo's Vengeance, but then my Snapcasters are pretty live. So don't mill Goryo's, but I get to draw Treasure Cruise, which is pretty sweet. And I think we're just going to fire this off. We can play around Mana Leak. Still able to play around Remand pretty well also, which is kind of absurd. Okay, so we have our Goryos. Now it's about trying to figure out when the best time to use this thing is. So I'm gonna get this Hollowed Fountain off the Delta, and then I'll be able to play around Mana Leak, which I think he has Snap Mana Leak, and I think that's what his plan is. And I think taking the hit for 2 there is worth not bolting, because you can play a Delver or a Pyromancer, but yeah, I'm gonna end up bolting this thing now. And then that leaves him without pressure, and he basically has to do something to get something on the board. So I get this Fountain, and Thought Scar is kind of weird now because I don't really want to be milling myself because I can only draw so many with Gristlebrand, but I don't really want to be milling him either. There are only like so many Soul Spikes, you know. But yeah, I think that's alright. I think it's not a huge risk. I definitely want to draw a card, and we milled 2 lands and draw Soul Spikes, so I guess that worked out. Okay, that's basically perfect. Yeah, so we're going to fire off his Inquisition. So Snapcaster, no surprise there. Target's Mana Leak, sure. If he Mana Leaks this, I'll just Gristlebrand him. It's also possible he just lets Inquisition resolve at this point. Wonder if his hand is like 4 Treasure Cruises or something. Yeah, it looks like he's just firing off everything. Cruise Vents Island. Alright, so he has Mana Leak open. He's gonna cruise next turn. I could upkeep Goryos, but I really want to be able to hit him with Gristlebrand. I think he's gonna Treasure Cruise on main A before he attacks. I would also like to Goryos before he draws another potential Mana Leak. But I could upkeep Goryos, draw 7, go down to 2, Soul Spike something, get out of Bolt range. He could cruise into double Lightning Bolt potentially. This is interesting. Yeah, I don't know what to do. I feel like it is just upkeep Goryo's, and if that's the case, I have to reset my stops here. I think that's my best bet. I think I just give him the chance to double bolt me, and then off this draw 7 I should be able to find another Goryo's Vengeance, and I have another Gristlebrand in the yard, so should be fine. Okay, so we set an upkeep stop, I think. I took away the stops they have here, just so there'd be like more room, more space. So hopefully this works. And it does. Alright, great. We figured it out. Now just need to draw basically a black card and a Goryo's. Well, we drew a Goryo's. I think that's still okay. We don't need to Soul Spike right now. Unless he draws 2 bolts, in which case we are dead anyway. Yeah, this is just like a lesson in actually preserving your life total, because I could have not taken the hit from that Snapcaster and that would have been like pretty relevant right now. So he gets to probe me, which kind of stinks. Gets to see what I'm up to. I guess I don't mind actually Soul Spiking away this Goryo's because I have a Snapcaster. But if he's cruising to refill, then that's kind of an issue, because like this walks into Remand or Mana Leak. Interesting situation. Alright, so he's got a Pyromancer. Knowing I have a Pyroclasm, it's kind of strange. Trying to get a little something going, I guess. Yeah, I think this is one of those games where I really like the combo-y version of Blue-Red more, just because he's sitting here like trying to play with mana leaks and whatnot while I'm developing my mana base, whereas if he just had like Swift Spears and like Gut Shots and stuff, he would just kill me. I'm really missing Serum Visions in this deck, though. Pretty sad I cut that one. Thought Scour is certainly fine and helps Treasure Cruise, but I haven't got to like stick those two together yet. So I'm sure that'll come up at some point. Serum Visions is just such a better card to draw in the mid game. Even just have early if you're missing like one specific combo piece. So it's possible, like, maybe I cut some of the Unburial Rite stuff. Maybe cut a Snapcaster, and then just try and go that route. So he's visioning a bunch. Hasn't really done too much on his Treasure Cruise turn. So things are looking pretty good for me. I should be able to Pyroclasm, and then hit him with Gristlebrand and Soul Spike him. Treasure Cruise there just in case. So I think I'm just going to skip the Pyroclasm, because that lets me play around Spell Pierce. Then hopefully he doesn't have anything crazy. Like, I fully expect Envelop to see a lot more Legacy play. But not legal in Modern, so pretty safe from that. But I guess, like, my 2 cards are instants anyway. But I don't know, just like Treasure Cruise. Oh, Dispel. Okay. So I was talking about Envelop against, like, Treasure Cruise and stuff, but he just has Dispel against my instants. So that means that I must cast Goryo's for real. And then just hope to draw a black card off my 7 cards. Feel like I'm favored. There we go. Oh, yeah. We did it. Won a game with 5 cards left in our deck. Not bad, not bad. Starting to like this Inquisition more and more. What did I do turn 1? I know I Soul Spiked a Delver, and that was awesome. But I basically had, like, no cards in my hand. That's pretty funny. I think I still like the 1 on Burial Rites. I still like these bolts. I like all the discard. All these cards are too good. Yeah, maybe I do just cut a Soul Spike. It's like he's dealing himself a bunch of damage with fetches and shocks and probes. So, like, 1 attack from Gristlebrand, and if I find, like, a spike and a bolt, he's probably just dead. So, I really don't need that many spikes. At least I hope not. We'll see, though. Yeah, we'll see. It looks good. It's fine. I don't know. I think I'm favored here. Just the matchup in general, like all their soft counters and their clock that is pretty light. You know, they're hitting you for like 1 and 2 and like sometimes 3, but it's like if you ever play Pyroclasm or Lightning Bolt, like their deck is really threat lights and they have to spend a bunch of turns trying to rebuild and everything. So seems like I'm a favorite as long as I'm able to find my stuff. And that second game, it certainly took a while, and in game 1 I just didn't find it, so all this hand is certainly not a keeper. I do have 1 castable spell. Much better, much better. Alright, Glimpse, just hit me Goryo's and a Gristlebrand. We'll be good. Somehow fight through his permission. Stupid 1 of them Burial Rites always in my hand. If something like Grafdigger's Cage happened, I'd be really surprised, but they would get me. They'd get me for sure. Alright, we actually have a game then. That turn 1 nothing? Tormod's Crypt, come on. That makes more sense than Cage, but you know. Gotta get a little creative now. Two crypts? Okay, I have to get very creative. Very creative. Alright, Mill the Gristlebrand. Step 1. It's possible he runs out of Snapcaster, which would be bad for me, because I'm going to try and, if I draw like a cruise or whatever, I can save Glimpse for that. But yeah, I would not like to take this 2 points of damage here, but I'm going to take it either way off the Blood Crypt, just whether or not I get to use my mana when I want, but yeah, okay. Doesn't actually play it, so it might actually just be really Threat Light, which would be great. Paying some mana for the paying some life for the Probe. As he does. Ugh. This is gonna be a weird game. Weird game. This might be one of those games where I'm not discarding any lands because I have to actually hardcast Gristlebrand. We'll see how aggressive he gets with these crypts, though. There's the Goryo's. So initially I was just going to play Snapcaster into Thought Scour, but now I don't want him to exile the Gristlebrand. It's like if I play Snapcaster, I would want him to like crypt me in response, and like a Goryo's in response and get the other crypt. So we'll hold off on Snapcastering here. Still have Lightning Bolt open for, you know, if he sideboards in Vendilion or something weird. But again, no threats. Just kind of hanging out. Yes, this is the turn where I'm going to play Snapcaster and see what happens. And if I get Cryptid Algorios. What I really want is a Treasure Cruise. Every time. I'm pretty sure I'm favoring these Drago games. Like this deck really needs pressure. It's pretty soon their counterspells are gonna go dead. Mana leak my Snapcaster. Well, that plan fell apart. Well, there's the cruise. So I have a lot of options. I could end of turn Goryo's, Beta Crypt, and then untap, Glimpse myself, and then play Cruise. I could just play on Burial Rites, and I think that's probably the best one. Lets him counter it, that's fine. But I would rather have the Goryo's than the Rites, and I'm not really using my mana this turn, so I'm just going to do that. Alternatively, I could try and do some junk, like on Burial Rites my Snapcaster, which he probably won't counter or crypt, and like, but I would rather just try and get these crypts out of here. And if this, I don't know. is somehow resolved, it'd be great, but yeah. Just get crypt there, it's fine with me. Step 1, 1 crypt down. So I don't really want to glimpse myself and then play Treasure Cruise with only 2 open mana, because it feels like they probably have Snap Mana Leak. So my options are just glimpse now and pass, or wait until next turn where I can go glimpse cruise in 1 turn. I think glimpsing now is just fine, because I don't think this is going to bait a crypt on its own. If it does, I can always Gorgo's in response if I hit something, but I did not. Worth noting that 1 Gristlebrand is gone. Only has to deal with 3 more. I guess he's at 13 though. Could very easily like bolt and spike him out from there. Uh-oh. Playing Cruise of Zone. Looks like keeping the Mana Leak, which might be a tell. So up to 7 cards now. Alright, I'll just pause that for a little bit. And we do see a Swift Spear. So we got like a half and half. There's not a bunch of gut shots and mutagenic growths, but still some early pressure that actually just didn't show up. And I think I'm just going to bolt this because it takes 2 spells. And if they play 2 spells, then that means that their mana's probably tapped, and then I get to do a bunch of sweet stuff. Alright, so would not be surprised to see a remand here. If that's the case, I want to pay as much mana as possible. Possible that should have crypted me in response to that fetch too. Maybe that was a little careless. But I want to get this white source. It's whether or not I play it on tap, and I think it should be untapped. And then I'll do enough to play around Mana Leak. And then if you want to remand that, that's fine. You can still replay it. Okay, so just resolves, which is cool, and I have a Gristlebrand that I can potentially cast. And again, this is a weird game. So there's a Pyromancer, finally has a threat. I really just want to bolt this thing. And not really caring too much about Mana Leak, because Gristlebrand costs 8. So I guess this Tarn doesn't hit anything anymore. Vapor Snag, the Pyromancer response. Alright. Alright, so now I can do some stuff. This Tarn is out of targets. Because I have these 4, and then I have Basic Swamp in my deck. So Tarn is gone. Tarn is a dead card. Alright, so now I have some options. Can discard Gristlebrand and then on Burial Rites it, and then presumably that will get countered, and then I can Goryo's it in response. Alternatively, I can discard Gristlebrand and then Inquisition and try and set up something for next turn, where it's like the same thing, but I've Inquisitioned them. So I don't know. Wish I drew an ETB untapped land instead of the Blackleaf Cliffs. I guess I'm pretty low on time too, so I need to make a decision. I feel like I need to Inquisition first. Well, first, I can flashback looting. Definitely discarding the Cliffs. And I guess the Thought Scour, so I can actually cast this Gristlebrand. We'll whittle him down. Just get him down to nothing. So lands, I have 2, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, so I have 6 lands left in my 25. 2 Snapcasters, Remand, and a Pyromancer. So not the greatest of spots. Snap, Vapor Snag takes away casting Gristlebrand as a real plan. Huh. So it looks like I'm just taking Remand. It's not a good place to be. Yeah, I think previously I was favored in these Drago games, but now since they have crews also, and more relevant cards than me, then they're a pretty heavy favorite now. Especially if they had Tormod's Crypt. If those 2 Tormod's Crypts weren't there, this game would have been easy. But again, it would have been a completely different game because they wouldn't have been on this weird draw-go plan, so it is what it is. Okay. Now maybe something can happen. I have a plan. It starts with Snapcaster Mage. That will target Treasure Cruise. Crew's going to draw me some cards. Now I have a Soul Spike. I think I'd rather use this Inquisition though, so we'll do that. The plan there was if he crypted me in response, I could Goryo's in response. And then he would go Snap Leak or Snap Remand, and I could just pay or replay the Goryo's Vengeance. So he's bolting my Snapcaster. Mild Annoyance. Could you take one of his Snapcasters? I don't think I want to cast this looting, because I like all the cards I have. Maybe not. Yeah, I like all the cards I have. It's Soul Spike and black card. It looks like I might time out here. I think the game will be over before that. Just need to get through that last Snapcaster Mage. We're almost there. Makes me think something like Defense Grid might be worth it. End of turn Crypt Me? I don't like that. Yeah, that's fine. Might have actually just cost him the game. Depends what he draws. He draws a Dispel, like obviously I'm in trouble. But he can't leak and he can't remand. He drew Negate. It's not cool. Why'd you draw Negate? I know that he's trying to like bait my action there, but that's just bad. Actually like gave me a chance to win. Oh no, these lands at ETB tapped. They're killing me. So if you go Snap Bolt, it's gonna have 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm gonna be at 6 or 7. Oh, this is so brutal. Oh, and he keeps the Snapcaster. Okay, that's good. That's smart. That is smart. Thought he might actually go for it there. Well, just keeping up Negate now that he has it. Need to beat Snap Negates. These glimpses aren't going to do it. Start doing some weird stuff. Soul Spike that thing. Remand it. Man, that's good. Yeah, okay. Now I'm dead. Because I could cast Soul Spike, but he still has Snap Remand. And I could cast Goryo's, but same thing. So, that's it. That was kind of crazy. Yeah, it makes me think that I do probably want something like Defense Grid, but we'll see.